Sorry about the delay, ladies and gentlemen. Had to wait for the last match to come to an end, but here we are, the grand finals of the Divergent Open series. The Plato Tangos up against Not Dream Team, which is also ASU's Heroes of the Dorm Team, what we just saw. This is now officially a best of three. We're in the territory where these guys can afford to lose one more match, and the first one going into this series is going to be on Sky Temple.
Yep, and the draft has already begun. Falstad going to be the first ban here for PPST, not Dream Team, the ASU team. Going to be banning out that Jaina. So interesting bans here.
Yeah,
Falstad not
Zool.
too surprising, as Falstad is a very good hero, very powerful in the right hands.
Yeah.
And Michael Udall has shown that his Falstad is very solid. But Jaina ban is definitely not one that you would expect.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see the first Zool pick of the day. I think pull Plato some Tangos. There he goes. They are going to be seeking to maintain the balance with the Necromancer right there. I think either maybe I guess they're just debating between Li Ming and Zool. That's the only thing I could possibly think of is which one they put more priority into. But nonetheless, okay, it is going to be the Zool, the first one picked up here for the day.
Well, instant picks coming out from Not Dream Team. I'm gonna keep calling them that just because it says on the draft, but it is the ASU team. Li Ming and Greymane just snap picked up. These three highly contested heroes.
Yeah.
I'm not too surprised to see them in the first three picks.
Yeah, Li Ming, we've seen her strength all day. Greymane, we've seen his strength all day. And I am genuinely curious about that Jaina build. What's going in there? I mean, maybe they knew they were going to get their hands on the Greymane, and they were afraid of a Ring of Frost, or I don't know. I'm just pulling strings right now, trying to figure that out. Because Jaina's not really a highly contested hero that we see quite frequently. I mean, there's frequently it happens where she just outright isn't picked nor banned in the current meta, but nonetheless don't want to deal with it. PPSD, what do they have available to them? They can put prioritization into either another ranged assassin if they so desire. Lunara, I know Lunara gets played frequently. Muradin, there's Muradin right there getting locked in. So PPSD, and that's their frontliner right there. Are they going to go with a double frontline? We've seen Muradin before in like a bruiser position where he wasn't the only frontliner and he picks up things like Haymaker. I would love to see that, but unfortunately, it's probably going to be more traditional Avatar style.
Would hold your breath on that one.
Oh,
Haymaker
okay.
is making a legitimate comeback. It's
I
got a
love it.
great place. We're starting to see a lot of the top teams running Haymaker more than Avatar now. The extra survivability, people
Excellent.
don't think it's needed. So Haymaker does have a place. It definitely
Yeah.
does. PPSD with their next pick is going to be Lunara. Great damage, and it's cool to see here that the 4 damage picked up are the 4 most recent released heroes, I believe.
You're right.
So
Look at you. Yeah, you're
Blizzard,
absolutely right.
Blizzard really showing that as they've gained more experience as developers of these heroes, that they're starting to pump out some, really powerful and interesting heroes.
Yeah, and I feel like Lunara was the one that when it came out was just like, ugh. Like no one, she had no place. She was plagued with problems. The big one was her auto attack was very unresponsive. You couldn't really stutter step with her very well. But now, ever since then, ever since Lunara, man, it's been nothing but good things. Maybe a little bit overtuned at times, but nonetheless, that's a little bit easier to tone it back. And that's what we saw with Li Ming and whatnot so far. And I think inevitably Zool will probably receive that as well. As the draft goes on, we see Lieutenant Morales taken out of the equation. Don't want to deal with the raw healing output of the futuristic paramedic. And Ian the Rhaegar ban is PPSD. So both of these teams putting a lot of priority onto the healer supports.
Joanna going to potentially be the ban here for PPSD, dying one of the better warriors in the current meta. Not at the top for sure, but nice, safe, very easy, forgiving if you have a bad positioning and stuff. So we do see it a lot from the amateur tier teams. But it's going to be an ETC ban instead from PPSD. Not ASU is going to look like Rhaegar. Surprising to see him make it this deep in the draft.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was actually a little surprised they didn't ban out him instead, but obviously we're a little bit too worried about the Rock God, the Mosh Pit, so on and so forth right there. So not Dream Team, aka ASU's Hero of the Dorms team, are going to pick up the Fight Dog himself and then secure the Johanna as well. They were pretty confident going into that. The Rhaegar immediately into the Johanna. PPSD, what do they need here? They need their support. They're eyeing the Kharazim, and then maybe complement that with another Bruiser, another ranged assassin. Thrall's still available as well. They have a lot of options for their last 2 picks here.
Yeah, really cool. Karazim can work as a solo support now with the changes to his heal, but we can also see the Tassifar paired with it, and that
Yeah,
would be a pretty
absolutely.
terrifying composition from PST. So they are hovering that Karazim, the most sought after support that in throughout Europe. In North America, it was very different at our regionals,
Yeah,
but in Europe, they
yeah.
very much love the Karazim.
They did. And now for the last pick, they can go all sorts of ways. They can go with another utility support like Tassadar you mentioned. They can go with another ranged assassin if they want to supplement their draft with maybe a little bit more aggression. Thrall's on the table as well. If they want another bruiser, obviously anything like that. If they're eyeing the Zagara, this is obviously one of Zagara's very good maps. You put her in that bottom lane, and she still has a very, very strong lane presence. Not what it used to be, but still very, very strong lane presence, and that's what it is. It's going to be the Zagara rounding out PPST's draft.
Well, it's a lot of damage on the end of PPST, a lot of sustained damage. We'll just see if Rhaegar can heal with it. And with most of them going the chain heal builds where you get tidal waves at 13, you shouldn't see too much difficulty from Rhaegar doing so. Last pick here for Not Dream Team. I mean, they need another damage. Will it be another warrior that could potentially, go for a Leoric for a little bit more of a dive? They could go for Zeratul, who also has really great poke. Very good at isolating that Lunara.
They're thinking about it. They got plenty of time. They got 45 seconds. I don't know if you mentioned about Thrall, obviously, as well. And it's nice to be able to kind of just throw out these heroes and say there's a lot of viable picks right now that they could pick up. There was a time and age where it's pretty much drafts were very easy to predict, and as time goes on, there's a lot more options and viability for these teams to pick from, which obviously as a spectator and caster is wonderful. And it looks like it's between the Thrall and the Zeratul. They keep switching back and forth. Nonetheless, you can see what style they want to go. If they want that melee assassin, they want the kind of initiation, whether it be Void Prison, whether it be the Sundering, and they are going to go with that Thrall. I like that pick just because we talked about it before in the last match. Thrall deals with the Zagara lane presence very, very well.
Well, I do like this composition from ASU. I definitely feel that despite the early pickup on Zul, I really like their composition.
Yeah.
Greymane and Leeming together are terrifying just because they both get the reset. So you can instantly see, especially with heroes as squishy as Lunara and Zagara, just suddenly two heroes are out of the fight very quickly. So
yeah,
really cool to see how they're going to play this out.
So this is the best of one of the best of three series between these two teams. It's going to be coming down to this grand finals right here on Sky Temple. I'm letting these guys know that we are good to go ahead and get into the match. Casters are good. So let's talk about Zul a little bit here, Zoya. I mean, he's the first time we've seen him today. He's been pretty much banned out exclusively right now. And I think his the big thing that he brings to the table that a lot of pros I know are talking about kind of in a negative connotation is that level 20 sort of Mortal Strike mechanism he brings to the table at level 20 and how it really affects burst healers more than it does your heal over times. And obviously Rhaegar for Ancestral Healing, that's the biggest burst healer in the game. So Zul hitting that level 20 with that Mortal Strike mechanism can really mitigate Ancestral Healing significantly.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. But that talent doesn't have the best success when you look at the Hot Logs win rate. So definitely can be played around. We'll have to see if they're able to do it themselves. But guys, this is game number 1 of the finals. We're just about to load into the map. I'm excited to see how this best of 3 is going to play out.